extraordinaire for Midnight All, Mr. Rob Hurt. Rob, good to have you here. Rob Hurt? What did I call you?
William Hirst. William Hurt's fine by me, or John Hurt. They're both fine actors. But Rob Hirst is the one that's actually in front of the mic.
You is the man. Now, I usually ask drummers to see if we can, get a little bit of a paradiddle thing going, but I've got a feeling you could outdiddle me any day.
I don't think I could outdiddle anyone. It's very early. we don't diddle before the sound check.
Congratulations on the Redneck Wonderland album, by the way. It's certainly got everyone talking. It kicks. And Cemetery in My Mind has made the Planet Rock chart this week.
That must be our first charting single since about 1982.
No, not so. We had stuff from Breathe as well. But the title track sounds like an old psychedelic classic. So what inspired the song?
Actually, Cemetery was one of the hardest songs to record in recent Midnight Oil living history. We actually had 3 goes at it. We recorded the song with Magoo, producer of Regurgitator and Front End Loader and a whole lot of Brisbane bands in Melbourne. And it turned out that everyone at the end of it thought, well, it's a great chorus looking for a song. And so many people said this, so we thought, we'll go back to the drawing board. So then Warren Livesey, who produced Diesel and Dust record and Blue Sky Mining, came out after Christmas to help us do some mixes and stuff. And he agreed as well. I mean, he said, look, we can actually make this song a lot better. Why don't the songwriters, that's myself and Jim, get together and write something else and see if we can build it up a bit. So I threw in the pre-chorus bit, that tomorrow is better than yesterday bit, and then Pete and Jim rewrote the verse lyrics, and we tossed it around a few more times and still weren't happy with it. And finally we got a version that we were happy with. And of course it's about, like so many kids today, it's about this kid driving around these faceless Americanized parking lots of the world in the rain, wondering why his life, which is, he's not old, but how come it's already seems so meaningless, and can't get something in his life that he can get really excited about, or a job that inspires him. And it's sort of bleak, but it's also got a positive sort of thing that this must be my time. This should be the time of my life. What happened? But it resolves at the end. Big key change, lots of big guitars and cymbals at the end. It's that Midnight Oil shiver down the spine when they change gear and change keys sort of thing. That old routine. Hi there, it's Rob Hirst from Midnight Oil on Planet Rock.
Hirst in the studio. One of my favourite things to ask bands is about their most memorable sort of Spinal Tap experience. What's the funniest thing that's ever happened to you guys?
We were in Disneyland. As it turned out, we were in Disneyland, Disney World, beg your pardon, down in Florida. Exactly on the day of our 20th anniversary last year. Now, how this came about, I don't know. I mean, it just didn't appear on the worksheet. 1 minute we were in a really cool club in New York called the Mercury Lounge, and we'd done a whole week there, and it was great. And then suddenly someone said, you're on a plane to Orlando today, and you're going to be playing in Disney World, and it's a pre-record radio thing right across America. I said, okay, that sounds good. We got down there and it was raining, and Pete was in a really bad mood, and I was really crook, and we found ourselves sort of surrounded by all these enormous Americans walking through with their fairy floss, and there was about 250 desperate Midnight Oil fans that were there, and on one side there's a roller coaster, and then there's Mickey Mouse presents on the other side, and Pete got in the worst mood and called Mickey Mouse a corporate puppet. Everything in Disney World tries to replicate real life. Like, even the roadies have been issued Disney World standard sort of long black shorts and black singlets, and they have their hair tied back in the pony. Like, they have this, even the crew are supposed to look like crew. It's like you do a double take, except that they're really clean, and they've got their shorts are all pressed with a big, it's just like, where are we? To find ourselves in the absolute symbol of everything that's wrong, with the world on our 20th anniversary birthday. Everyone just sort of broke down in tears of laughter in the end. At least we could see the funny side, And then the rain got heavier, and the crowd dispersed, and we ended up playing to about 10 people, and we thought, it's amazing. 20 years down the track, we're still here, and we can still laugh about it.
Number 10 now on the Hard Nosed Planet Rock Countdown, Rob. We've got Cold Chisel with the Yakuza Girls. Do you have any thoughts on the Chisel reunion?
The thing about Chisel is that I thought there was a gaping hole in the Australian musical landscape when they finished up. You know, I mean, I understood the politics that happened at the time, and there's a chemistry with bands that you just don't have. And I don't mean any disrespect to the individual members of the band, because I've gone out and done Ghost Riders and I've done separate stuff myself, and you know, some of it's good and some of it's great and some of it's not so great. But sometimes you get a group of people together and they're not very similar in personality or background or anything, but they work together in some sort of group, you know. And I think Chisel just had this amazing combination of, well, two great singers, at least two great singers, a rhythm section that reminded me a bit of Creedence, which was one of my favourite bands, and thank God John Fogerty's coming out again. You know, it was just sort of, it just worked, you know, and I can't wait to see them back again, really, you know.
Well, have a listen to this, Rob. I think you'll find they're still working. This is number 10.
Yeah, it's a bit frightening, actually. Suddenly back at the Star Hotel in Newcastle, which is, you know, not something.
Which is actually one of my favourite Cold Chisel songs. So Star Hotel was a great track.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sort of.
You sound a bit stunned.
Well, I am a bit. I'm hoping actually, having, despite the preamble I gave before, I'm hoping actually that it absorbs something that happened in the last 14 years as well and incorporated into their music.
Rob, I thought.
Yeah, we're mad as hell and we're not going to take it. Yeah, I mean, I think we actually got angrier during the making of this record. We started off fairly angry and we sort of revved up to a state of bitter hostility. You've heard of Angry Anderson, you know, now meet resentful Garrett. Yeah. No, seriously, it was. We actually decided that we just couldn't remain silent. I mean, we've never really been a sort of band that remains silent in the face of this ignorance and divisiveness. But it's, you know, we've actually been screaming musically and literally from the rooftops again. And well, this is hard to be objective, but I think we're playing some of the most ferocious, you know, galvanising shows that we've played for a lot of years, and I think we're taking the political landscape and we're throwing it back at people in a really strong manner.
Every week, lots of other things like the tour. Now, I caught the Redneck Wonderland show about 2 weeks ago. You're coming up to the end of the tour. You've still got Gosford, Wollongong, Penrith, Parramatta, my old stomping ground. What's the audience reaction been to the new material?
It's a good question, because we've had quite a few, you know, band debates, you know, when the band gets in a bit of a huddle. You know, it's a band footy blokey thing. We weren't sure whether playing, you know, 8, 9, 10 brand new songs in a row in the second half of the night was such a good idea. In fact, we knew it would be a bit of a challenge, but what's happened actually is, because the songs are really strongly put and they're really fresh because it's the first time we've played them live, and they're on that big riff thing mainly, you know, and we're really enjoying playing them. And in actual fact, although the better known songs are going down well in the first half, the second half is actually the highlight. And then we finish with Redneck Wonderland and people know it and it goes off, basically. It's working really well.
Today, Rob?
That's a pleasure.
One last question. I've been saving this one for last. How did the rest of the band react when Garrett was voted as one of Australia's greatest living treasures earlier in the year?
Well, you know, the typically cynical oils were calling him precious behind his back, and when's Treasure arriving for the sound check and stuff, you know. So we don't take it too seriously, and I don't think he does either. But having said that, I mean, I think that Pete's put the work in.
That's a beautiful note to finish on. Thank you, Rob.
See you, Sharon.
It's been lovely having you in again.
See you, Sharon.
And as Midnight Oil's Rob Hirst picks up his stick and wanders out of the Planet Rock studios, we have more.